TIL of the 1976 Chowchilla bus kidnapping. 3 men kidnapped 26 kids and their bus driver and forced them into an underground bunker. They never gave their $5 millions random note to the police. They took a nap after the crime, and when they woke up the victims had already escaped and returned home safely. Very few crimes can successfully be committed with a nap break in the middle. The list kinda begins with mail fraud, and doesn't continue very long. LMFAOOWTF in the Scooby-Doo ass crime is this. I recommend the ampersand. In October 2019, Frederick Woods was denied parole for the 19th time. His next parole hearing was set for 2024. Over the years, reasons given for the denials have included his continued minimization of his crime as well as disciplinary infractions for possession of contraband pornography and cell phones. In 2016, a workers' compensation lawsuit filed against Woods also revealed that he had been running several businesses, including a gold mine and a car dealership, from behind bars without notifying prison authorities as required. The heir to 2 wealthy California families, the Newhalls and the Woods, he inherited a trust fund from his parents that was described in one court filing as being worth $100 million, although Woods' lawyer disputed that amount. He has married 3 times while in prison and has purchased a mansion about 30 minutes away from the prison. /6/ https://en. Wikipedia, org/wiki/1976_Chowchilla_kidnapping #site_note-2-6. Can't believe the guys has $100 million waiting for him, a life of luxury, but can't get parole because he needs porn to wank. Should have made the note more specific. Despite the happy ending, many of the kids had PTSD after the incident. One of them only a couple years later reacted to a passing tourist's car breaking down outside his house by shooting the man with a BB gun. Did you learn this from my favorite murder? /r/title gore, brother, can I have some plus? I remember this when it happened. As a school-age kid who took the bus at the time, I remember it made me think. That's some attention deficit disorder level tactics right there. Actually from Chowchilla. Have a park named after the bus driver now, and have seen the bus a few times. Kind of a weird thing for your city to be known for. Well, that and prisons. Oof, that was a tough article to read. These poor kids. Op greatly underselling the horror of the situation. These kids were kidnapped and buried alive in a van for 12 hours. Have you spent 10 minutes buried alive and in the dark? They didn't know what was going to happen or how they were going to die. One of the oldest kids, who was 14 at the time, not knowing what had happened to the other children or if they were even alive, Michael says he couldn't bear to hand Monica over to the kidnappers. So, when they opened the doors again, he went first. Michael Marshall, I had to take her hands from mine and rip and tear them apart, say it would be okay, and go with them and leave her. That was hard. Not really finding this a humorous story as others. The article describes a pretty traumatic event. I know of this story because I played one of the kidnappers in one of those ID Network crime reenactment shows. So my mom is from Chowchilla and told me the story when I was a kid. I totally didn't believe her until I saw a special about it on television. I always thought it was some made-up story to scare us. I was petrified of riding the bus, lol. This feels like a college group assignment where one person doesn't pull their weight and everyone suffers for it. As someone very familiar with the town of Chowchilla, this the most Chowchilla thing that could happen. I live about 30 minutes from Chowchilla in Fresno. When I was growing up, and whenever something outlandish happened in a movie, my grandpa would say that actually happened in Chowchilla because this kidnapping was outlandish and happened in Chowchilla. Now when I'm watching TV with my kids and something absolutely impossible happens, I tell them, you know, this actually happened in Chowchilla. /r/title gore. Weirdly, this guy said he was inspired by Dirty Harry, 1971. But a similar incident happened in 1972 in Australia. Both real-life incidents had movies made of them. Fortress in 1985 and They've Taken Our Children in 1993. My grandmother was in the kidnapping. She was very sad a month ago, because it was the anniversary and was very traumatizing for her. I should probably do an AMA with her. 5 million random dollars sounds interesting. Writing and instead of underscore an underscore is considered a crime in 86 legislations. This title makes me physically uncomfortable. I'm from Livermore, where they buried the truck. If memory serves me correctly, one of their fathers owned the gravel pit where they buried the truck, and they rented the truck in their own name. The nap wasn't the only cause of their downfall. I was 9 years old when this happened. It was a little scary to get on the school bus after this happened. MRS, Frizzle, what is this, the tragic school bus? Carlos. Sources for more info. Pictures, https://www. CBS News. com/pictures/ Chowchilla bus kidnapping Frederick Woods rare photos from one of the largest kidnappings in U.S. history/ news footage, https://youtube. B/42Q9LTNS5BW. LA Times article, https://www. LA Times. com/visual/photography/Lamy FW archives the 1976 Chowchilla bus kidnapping 20190709 HTML story. HTML. Podcast, My Favorite Murder, Episode 233, Free Range Children. Is that a headline or a math problem? I read this in Reader's Digest of all places back in the day. R/title Gore. Buried a busload of kids and left them to die, and 2 of the 3 are free men. The third would be out if he didn't keep sneaking porn into his prison cell. I remember when this happened primarily because when I was young our school band always played at the Chowchilla Fair every year. Jennifer Brown Hyde survivor, we start driving down the road. Larry Park survivor, I'm wondering how it was going to feel to die. Larry Park, I was too scared to move. *audio, Jennifer Brown, age 9, they parked the bus, and there was a green van down there waiting for us. *audio, Jennifer Brown, age 9, and those 2 guys standing from the bus door to the van door with guns with pantyhose over the head so we wouldn't run out. And then, see, they pulled the van right up to the bus door. *audio, Jennifer Brown, age 9, and a few of my little friends that are 5 and 6, they came over and started laying on me and crying. And I told them be brave because it's going to be all right. Jennifer Brown Hyde, before I knew it, the ladder was gone. They threw a roll of toilet paper down and said, "We'll be back for you." And that was it. The kidnappers then covered the opening with a manhole cover. Michael Marshall, I remember it just went dark. And then you just hear the material getting thrown on us, we were being buried alive. They were buried 12 feet underground. Larry Park, Ed Ray and Mike Marshall, they looked at every corner, every wall, for an escape route. They got underneath the manhole cover and pushed up on it. And they couldn't move it. So, Ed Ray determined that it was time for everyone to get some rest. The minutes and hours ticked by. Michael Marshall. It would be silent and then somebody would bust out crying and the hole would just erupt. Everybody's crying. Michael Marshall, the thing that made me cry was not being able to say goodbye to my mom. And I'm remembering the last time that I saw her /emotional/ and wishing I could have told her goodbye. Jennifer Brown Hyde survivor, as a young kid, you don't have a lot of sense of time. There was no sunlight. So, you couldn't tell if it was day or night. We were out of food, we were out of water, the roof was caving in. It just was a desperate situation. Larry Park survivor, so, Ed Ray and Mike Marshall, took a bunch of these mattresses that we were laying on and they stacked them on top of each other right underneath the manhole cover. Michael Marshall. And I'm giving it everything I got, and all the kids are cheering me on. You know, come on Mike, you can do it, you can do it, And then all of a sudden, they said, "It moved, it moved." But they were far from being free. The children would quickly learn that escaping was not going to be easy. The kidnappers had put truck batteries and dirt on top of the manhole cover and had constructed a wooden box around it. Once the manhole cover was moved, that box was just big enough for Michael to stand in. Audio, Michael Marshall, age 14. Edward squeezes me through this half-foot hole. Like Jennifer, Michael Marshall made a recording about his experience. Audio, Michael Marshall, age 14, I get on top of it and I start pounding on this box. Start hitting and pounding, star. Larry Park, he dug until he was exhausted and then he kept on digging. There was no quit in him. Audio, Michael Marshall, age 14, none of us knew if when we got out, they were just going to be standing there with shotguns at our head and stuff, so we were kind of, pretty scared. Larry Park, then suddenly this ray of sunlight cries . This ray of sunlight came down into the opening. And it was catching the dust. And the dust particles looked like a bunch of shooting stars. There was this airflow that came out of the van pauses and I knew we were free. I need a minute. Gets up from his chair, overcome with emotion. Michael Marshall, and I stuck my head out and I didn't see anybody. I could see we were in the hills, we were in big trees. Jennifer Brown-Hyde, it looked totally like a sand dune. There was no way to know that there was anything below. There was no way to know that we were in there. It was totally camouflaged. It was approximately 8 p.m. on July 16 when Ed Ray and the children emerged. They had been in the hole for nearly 16 hours. Jennifer Brown-Hyde, we all just scurried like a bunch of little mice. And we heard some noises, machinery and equipment. And then we thought, oh my God. What if it's them? What if we're going right to the men that took us? But they felt they had no choice but to keep going. Jennifer Brown-Hyde, we started walking toward the equipment that we heard. We saw conveyor belts and excavators and large machinery. It looked like the Flintstones, and all these men with hard hats came to us and looked at us like, who are you? And I remember Edward saying, we're from Chowchilla. And we're lost. The link is to an article, and the 48-hour video series of the event.